The restaurant fell silent as Eliza Blackwood, CEO of Horizon Industries, stood up from her chair, her voice cutting through the ambient chatter like a knife. $50 million. Marry me or leave now. Her eyes, sharp as flint, locked with those of the disheveled man who had accidentally sat at her reserved table just 30 minutes earlier. Marcus Chen, a janitor working 3 jobs to support his daughter, felt his world tilt on its axis as 20 pairs of eyes turned to witness his response. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more emotional stories that will touch your heart. Your support means everything to us. Marcus had never meant to be there that night. The fancy restaurant downtown was far beyond his means, but his daughter's teacher had insisted on meeting somewhere appropriate to discuss Emma's future. A mix-up at the reception desk had led him to the wrong table, where a striking woman in an impeccable suit sat alone, checking her watch impatiently. "I'm so sorry," he had stammered, realizing his mistake. "I was told to meet Ms. Peterson here." "Sit," she had commanded, her tone leaving no room for argument. "My date is clearly not coming, and the maitre d' is watching. I refuse to be stood up in public." That was how Marcus Chen found himself sharing a table with Eliza Blackwood, though he wouldn't learn her identity until much later. For now, she was just an intimidating stranger in clothes that probably cost more than his monthly rent. "I can't afford this place," he had whispered, embarrassed. "I'm just a janitor." Something in her eyes had softened then. "Order whatever you want. It's on me." Their conversation had flowed surprisingly easily after that. Marcus spoke of Emma, his 8-year-old daughter who loved science and stayed up too late reading. He mentioned his wife's death from cancer 3 years ago, how he worked days at the hospital, evenings at an office building, and weekends at a local gym, all to keep a roof over their heads and save for Emma's education. Eliza had listened, really listened, in a way few people ever had. She asked questions about Emma's interests, about his dreams before life had intervened. For a brief moment, Marcus forgot about his worn shoes and the stain on his only decent shirt. Then her phone had rung. The call was brief, but when she hung up, her demeanor had changed completely. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice suddenly businesslike. "I'm Eliza Blackwood, CEO of Horizon Industries." Marcus nearly choked on his water. Horizon Industries was everywhere in the news, a tech giant on the verge of a revolutionary product launch. "The man who was supposed to meet me tonight is Richard Keller, my company's largest investor. He's been trying to force me out for months, claiming a woman can't handle the pressure of the upcoming IPO." Her laugh was bitter. "He's just arrived with his lawyers and board allies. They're watching us right now, thinking you're my date." Marcus glanced around nervously, noticing the group of suited men at a large table across the room. "I have a proposition," Eliza continued, her voice low. "My grandfather had an unusual clause in the company charter: if the CEO marries, their spouse automatically receives 20% of voting shares. It was his way of ensuring family control." Marcus blinked, trying to process her words. "Richard can't touch me if I'm married. The board can't remove me." She leaned forward. "I need a husband. Temporarily." That was when she had stood up, making her outrageous offer loud enough for everyone to hear. $50 million. Marry me or leave now. The silence stretched as Marcus stared at her, his mind racing. $50 million would secure Emma's future forever. It would mean never having to choose between paying for her asthma medication or the electric bill. It would mean she could go to any college she wanted. But it would also mean lying. Entering a sham marriage with a stranger. What would that teach Emma about integrity? "I can't," he finally said, his voice barely audible. "I'm sorry, but I can't teach my daughter that this is okay." He stood up, dignity intact despite his shabby clothes, and walked toward the exit, feeling Eliza's gaze burning into his back. 3 days later, Marcus was mopping the floors at Horizon Industries headquarters when a security guard approached him. "Ms. Blackwood wants to see you. Top floor." Confused and apprehensive, Marcus rode the elevator to the executive suite. Eliza sat behind an imposing desk, looking even more formidable than she had at the restaurant. "You turned down $50 million, she said without preamble. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "I couldn't lie to my daughter. I respect that." She gestured to a chair. "Sit down, please. I have a different proposition." She explained that after their dinner, she had gone back to the board with a new strategy. Instead of fighting Richard Keller, she had exposed his attempts to manipulate stock prices through insider trading. The SEC was now investigating, and Keller had been forced to sell his shares. "I need someone with integrity on my team," she said. "Someone who values truth over money." She slid a contract across the desk. "This is a job offer. Director of Corporate Ethics. The salary is substantial, and it comes with benefits, including a college fund for Emma." Marcus stared at the paper, stunned. "But I don't have qualifications." "You have the only qualification that matters," Eliza interrupted. "You walked away from $50 million because it was the right thing to do." 6 months later, Marcus and Emma moved into a comfortable house near a good school. His new position challenged him intellectually in ways he'd never experienced, and he discovered a talent for navigating ethical dilemmas in business. Eliza became a regular visitor, bringing science books for Emma and engaging the girl in conversations about technology and innovation. The CEO who had terrified boardrooms found herself sitting cross-legged on the floor, helping an 8-year-old build robots. One evening, as they shared a simple dinner Marcus had cooked, Eliza watched father and daughter laugh together. "You know," she said quietly, "I offered you a business arrangement that night. But I think I was looking for something else without realizing it." Marcus met her gaze. "What's that?" "A family," she admitted. "My grandfather's clause wasn't just about control. He believed no one should run a company that makes products for families without understanding what family means." Emma looked up from her plate. "Are you going to marry my dad for real now?" Both adults stared at her in surprise. "Because you look at him the way Princess Tiana looked at Prince Naveen after they turned back into humans," Emma explained matter-of-factly. Eliza laughed, a genuine sound that filled the modest kitchen. "Your daughter is perceptive. She gets that from her mother," Marcus said softly. "And what would you say?" Eliza asked, suddenly vulnerable. "If I asked without the $50 million ultimatum?" Marcus reached across the table and took her hand. "I'd say some things are worth more than money." 2 years later, Horizon Industries launched its revolutionary medical technology, affordable treatments for childhood asthma and other respiratory conditions, inspired by Emma's struggles. The company's new ethical approach to healthcare, championed by its director of corporate ethics, made headlines worldwide. And if anyone noticed that the CEO's wedding ring matched that of the former janitor, they simply smiled at the unlikely love story that had transformed not just 2 lives, but countless others through their shared vision. As Eliza often said in interviews about the company's success, sometimes sitting at the wrong table turns out to be exactly right. The story of Marcus and Eliza reminds us that true wealth isn't measured in dollars but in integrity, compassion, and the courage to choose what's right over what's easy. Sometimes the most valuable offers aren't the ones with the biggest price tags, but the ones that recognize our true worth. If this story touched your heart, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content that celebrates the unexpected journeys that change our lives forever.